If you're creating craft in any way, shape or form, you have to be marketing. You have to be thinking about, how am I going to sell this? Who am I selling it to? And if you're not thinking along those lines, the sad state of affairs is they will miss you. And as they miss you, you might not be able to sell as much as you potentially can sell. So I think it's just really looking at who your market is, how you want to sell it. And being dyslexic, I normally work backwards. So when I first started all of this and I first started out of the dark, I looked at saying, well, okay, I'm selling secondhand furniture. Now, who's going to want to buy it? Why would they want to buy it? What do they read? What are they interested in? What is their concerns? And so on and so forth. What are the things they aspire to have around them? And the shops that came out to me was John Lewis, Hills. There was always the Conrad shop. There was companies such as Benchmark. There's fabric designers such as Timorous Beasties, Paris Wakefield, Jab. All of those guys I needed to associate myself with, because they would elevate what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to sell secondhand furniture, it's like majority of the time when I first started, it was being sold to people on a low income who had just come out of prison or the care system. But I wanted to sell high end, which then allowed me to continue working with those young people. So as I knew that's where I wanted to sell, I then had to work my way back to figure out who I needed to be associated to that would elevate my brand. And that's basically it. The way that the way that I've known who my market is I decided to look into what was needed. So sometimes you could be designing something that there isn't a consumer for it. You could be potentially too advanced for the market. So I knew there was a gap in the market with regards to secondhand furniture, especially the likes of Urkel. I was buying Urkel way before it became fashionable. And it was just a kind of a gut feeling that I had. As I said earlier, the stomach, I believe, is our second brain. And I just had a feeling about it. And my ex-wife at the time, she was very instrumental at saying, this is what would sell. And to some extent, I knew what I could buy, but I was like, I don't think anybody's going to buy it. It's only when someone did buy it, then we realized I realized that, wow, there's something else. And then I started to unravel, why did it sell? What was it that sold? Where did it go? And all of that stuff. So luckily, I was in the world of interiors. And basically, that's the market that I was appealing to. So then I understood, okay, that's worldwide, because the first piece we sold went to Germany. And then I had to wheel it back to this country. How am I going to make sure that I am associated with the right people? And that's basically how I did it. I broke it down completely, as into people who shop at Hills are a certain type of person, and they have a certain financial position, and they like certain quality things. So I looked at the likes of all of the designers that they had in Hills, all of the things that they had there that made sense. So I felt the linen, I felt the velvet, and then understood. I did this a couple of times. I just sat in Hills, just sat on their chairs. They've got loads of chairs in there, so you can just sit down. And obviously the sales assistant comes up, would you want to buy something? No, I'm all right, I'm just contemplating. And they're very nice there. You can sit in Hills, and I sat in Hills for about an hour one time, just sat down on the sofa. And all I was doing was just watching people. And those were the consumers of how they bought, what they touched, and how long they spent on something that they touched, and why they bought something, and the questions they was asking. And that's how I did my market research. You need to do your market research on your consumers. If you are selling in the markets, there's consumers that come to markets, and there's enough research out there that you can actually just say, okay, this is the way I'm going to focus it up. So it's more about, as I said, working backwards, as into you know who you want to sell to. If you don't know who you want to sell to, you look at your price bracket. If you've got the Primark price, you're selling to a certain type of customer. If you've got the Hills and Liberties price, you're selling to a certain type of customer. There is enough information about those customers and how they buy and why they buy and what the influencers are. So you just need to tap into that, really. When you're selling something, now you're talking about a customer who would turn around and say, well, I can get something like that cheaper in Asda or whatever. Those kind of customers, really, you're going to get negativity. And if someone is at a craft show that is saying that they can buy it cheaper in Asda, let them go to Asda, no problem. That's their price bracket. That's where they're at. And at the end of the day, what they are saying to you by saying that, and this is the way I like to spin it, is that they would love to buy your item, but they don't have that money at the moment to buy it. So they're going to go to a cheaper alternative. Cool, not a problem. Go to the cheaper alternative. Once you do have enough money to buy my item, you can come and see me. I will still be here. And that's the way that I would see it. I'm not really concerned with people who can't afford it. I'm more concerned with people who can afford it. And how you find those people, is you have to do your market research. The people are not going to come to you. You have to market your items in a particular way. You have to believe in your items in a particular way, as you all do. You all believe in what you're creating and what you're doing. So it's just that you have to really go for it.